There we go. Okay.
No, you're great. Hello, this is Nicholas Tanek with YourKinkyFriends.com. And oh my God, I have a wonderful, wonderful guest with me tonight. We're gonna talk about feet. We're gonna talk about animal play, CBT, sissification, chastity, and we'll discuss the Marquis de Sade because we're intellectuals. I have a very strong interest in the Marquis de Sade. Please welcome. Hold on a second. Okay, please welcome the magnificent Mistress Shadow. Say hi.
Hello.
Okay, so before we begin, and we'll get into details, but just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I have been a lifestyle domina for 17 years, going on 18. And if you include modeling and performing as part of my professional repertoire, about as long, but officially for about 15 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Modeling and performing. We'll get into that. I didn't. Yeah, if you don't mind, we'll get into that. But I always ask everybody what was the first time you were kind of quote unquote out as kinky? Was it just with one person? Was it at a party? Was it at a dungeon? A munch?
For me, I think it was a progression. I've always been very sexually liberal. I don't think I ever hid much. And I left home when I was 16. I wasn't terribly close to my family. I kind of moved to a big city, just lived my own life, did my own things. So I think I kind of just always automatically was out.
Interesting. Okay.
My sisters know what I do. My mom knows what I do. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, when it comes to being a professional dominatrix, there are, as my friend says, there are Jacquelines of all trades, and who just do everything. There are people who focus on the sadism side. There are people who focus on the sensual side. Who they're loving doms, and then there's everything in between, and then the sissification, CBT, there's all this stuff. What would you say your specialties are?
Sensual, sadist, femdom. I don't really classify myself as I hasten to say the loving dom. But I am very much an empath, and I am very genuine and very authentic. So, a lot of people that are very new to kink come to me and recognize very quickly that they're in a safe space and they feel very comfortable with me. So I suppose I'm a loving dom in that way, but I'm kind of just a kinky slut. I like it all. I want to do it all. I want to yeah.
But okay, so let's back up and talk about.
I'll clarify it. Not a submissive, but definitely a kinky slut. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Let's back up and talk about, and we'll talk about impact play. Definitely, but let's back up and talk about new people. Let's say I've never been to a dominatrix before, never done it. But it's something that fascinates me, and it turns me on, and the whole concept of it. What advice would you give to somebody?
Say that again, sorry?
What advice would you give to somebody who's never been with a dominatrix before, ever?
Talk and talk and talk some more, and seek out people that are going to take you seriously. Seek out people that make you feel safe, and go from there.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, definitely. And another rule, because I'm friends with many dominatrixes, don't waste a dom's time.
And don't waste my fucking time. Yeah.
Don't waste the Tom's time. All right, let's go. Slave training, right? You have slave training now. Um, now, I'm not looking for. Please keep in mind, I'm not looking for a session or anything. I'm not looking for free stuff. But I'm. This is more of a journalist thing. Um, um, Take us through the process of slave training. First of all, who earns the fact, or how do they earn the fact to become your slave?
Consistency.
Okay.
With me, it's definitely consistency, consistent in their level of devotion. So, walking the talk, because I've had plenty of fair weather submissives in my time. A lot of men have come to me, with the expectation that I'm basically just going to fulfill this like sexy fantasy for them. They're going to get what they want and then they're going to move on. Even if that is being your slave, like they don't really grasp what that is. So to me, slave is someone who legitimately wants to be owned by me, wants to be collared by me, is willing to put in the time, is obedient, is willing to learn, and is also just willing to communicate, and just be open with me. So that's where it starts. If you're going to flake out on me, if you're not going to be honest about what you're thinking or feeling, like I pick up on that right away, and it just, I'll send you packing. Like it's that easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so then what happens after that? If, let's say, a person comes to you, is completely honest with what they want, talks, about things that they love, that really like lack of a better phrase, lights their fire. But also stuff that they don't love, and they're honest about like their whole living situation, stuff like that. What's the next step?
Proving how much they can take. Like I am definitely into like the servitude and humiliation, degradation. I'm very much a sadist. So, devote your time, devote your energy to me, but also devote your body. And if you can take a lot and you're willing to continuously push those boundaries, I'm much more likely to keep you around.
Now, are these live-in slaves or are they online slaves?
Not live-in and not online. In person, yes, but whether it's you visit once a month, once every 3 months, once a week, whatever that is.
Okay, so we're gonna let's talk about sadism. So this is a two-part question.
Okay.
One's about cock and ball torture, and one's about sadism, and
Okay.
they could be the same thing.
Yes.
So, but if you have two separate answers, that's great. What is one of the most sadistic things you've ever done that you can think of?
Oh, you got 3 days?
What?
So you have 3 days? Let me think here. One of the most sadistic things I have ever done. I had like stiletto fingernails forever and ever and ever. I'm also a massage therapist, so I no longer have those. But I have ripped someone's cock literally to shreds, like bleeding, very painful. And just upon request, yeah.
All right, so that answered both questions. That's good. Yeah. Ripping. I'm taking for like I said, the intro. Ripping someone's cock with nails. Okay, that works. Yeah, that answers the question.
I also really enjoy stepping on men's throats.
Stepping on, that's good too. Stepping on, that's good.
Stepping on men's throats, that's a thing, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good way to do breath play.
Okay, well, one of the things you do is foot worship, right? Now, out of all the kinks, as opposed to cock and ball torture or sissification, or even rope, foot worship is one of the most mainstream kind of fetishes there are.
Yeah.
Right? Why do you think that is as opposed to other fetishes?
Oh, that is a really good question. I am not a foot person, so I've always really wondered that. It's always just been sort of like, well, hey, sure, if you really want to, go for it. Like, so just speaking from personal experience, like when it comes to the foot worship side of thing, like I really enjoy having my feet massaged, but like excessive licking and slobbering is not my thing. I don't know if it's just a very visual thing because, someone's got small and dainty feet, or metaphorically, subliminally, they represent like being walked on. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but.
No, that's a fair question. That's a fair answer. Another thing you do is animal play, right? You do kitty play, pony play, puppy play. I'm sure there's others. I know.
All the way.
What?
Pony play all the way.
Pony play all the way. I've interviewed some ponies.
I have a very hardcore kink for pony play. Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask you this: why do you like it?
Because I love horses.
Okay.
It's just aesthetically, it's very erotic for me. I mean, the harnesses and the headdresses and the blinders and the hooves and like the leather suits, like all of it. The saddles, I don't care what it is. It's very, very aesthetically pleasing to me, and it's very sexual.
Interesting. Okay. And I was always wondering, like, I understand it's a sexual, fetish and everything like that, but do you? This may be too personal, but like,
no, it's not a bestiality thing.
no, oh no, I wasn't saying that. I wasn't saying that at all. It's I'm like, for people who are into pony play, do they actually like have sex while they're in their pony outfit?
I think a lot of people do. Yeah.
No. Okay. And when it comes to pet play, like for example, shout out to Madam's Menagerie, their boudoir model, who do submissive kitten animal play stuff, and they're all in like garter belts and stockings, and they got the little ears and stuff like that, and what like they get into some like really interesting pet play. Like one of them becomes an otter all the time. So what I was wondering, when it comes to pet play, what are some pets that you would like to see more of?
I would like to see more of. Okay, because I am such a cat. So cat's the typical one, I would say. Cat, puppy, pony.
Cat's very popular. Kitten, lover. Tangle Blue is the cat. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
Snakes.
Wow, that's a new one. Okay, yeah.
Because I don't know. I think of like Kundalini and sensuality, and like it's very serpentine, very sexy.
Yeah, and they can slide on the floor.
Totally.
And stuff like that. And now, every time I think of snakes, I think of the song "Trust in Me." I don't know if you know the song. It's in the Jungle Book, and it's the snake. And Susie and the Banshees does an amazing job on that. Yeah, doing a cover of that.
Oh, Susie Sue. Yeah.
Oh, I love Susie Sue. You are after my own heart.
I'm an old spooky kid. Can't you tell?
Yeah. So, all right, let's another thing that you do, which I'm fascinated with, and and tomorrow we're having a panel episode about this, sissification.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So, sissification. There are a lot of men out there who are in marriages or who have relationships, and they feel this great shame that they, they can't, like, they feel embarrassed or shameful that they have this fetish and this turn on. So what advice would you give to someone who's in that situation?
It's like that's kind of the story of my life in a lot of ways. Like a good majority of the men that have come to see me in a professional setting are living that. They're married, they have very corporate jobs, or they're in relationships where they have to keep it very hush hush. And forced femme or sissification is one of the main things I get requests for. So I find for a lot of people it's very freeing. So my advice is honor that. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Gender expression is a spectrum like anything else. So why not express that, right? Like,
no, definitely. I totally, like, my story with Lynn, who passed away, and I live with my dom, Miss Melissa, and we both own French maid outfits. You know what I mean? And I feel like a way.
Who wears it better?
What?
But who wears it better?
She wears it better. See,
good answer.
In the feminine sense, and that's what I also want to talk about. I want to talk about the gender roles and femininity when it comes to that. Well, first, I have a better French maid outfit, but she wears it better. So, like, when you feminize a male, there are many kind of roles that play. So if I'm ever put into a dress or slip or something like that, and we don't live at 24/7, anything like that. But I just get submissive. I don't act feminine. Okay. I just get submissive. So there's the submissive end of the spectrum. There's the classic, let's say, sissy maid kind of, dynamic. And then there's the slut, feminizing a male into a slut or a hooker or whatever. Do you get more one or the other?
I would say it tends to be more of the submissive side of things.
Interesting. Okay.
I haven't had a lot of slave subs that are into like the full sissification, but it's been more common for me to do forced feminization more as an act of dominance and humiliation.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have some experience with subs that, like full sissy maid. And then I have those that are just like, put slutty red panties on me and ripped stockings and like treat me like the filthy whore that I am, right? So it's all over the place. But
okay, what do you think it is about sissification or forced feminization? Because they're both kind of different, forced feminization, sissification. Some people don't like to use the word sissification because of the way it's the gender aspect. But why? I mean, it is a hugely popular fetish. Why do you think it's that? Why do you think it's so popular?
Patriarchy.
Interesting. Okay.
Moving away from that social construct, I think can be very liberating. So you take a cisgendered male who, identifies with gender or genitalia at birth and all of those things. And it's like, I'm used to being in this construct and behaving a certain way and having all these expectations placed upon me. And then I can completely do a 180 and be somebody else and express that. And I think just being that free can be sexual, if that makes sense. Like,
oh, definitely. Oh, definitely. Do you give names?
I do. I will. Yeah, I have.
And all right. So do you give names based on their male names or just like totally new names?
It's just like random in the moment, kind of like, oh, you're Linda, or you're whatever. I don't know. Like,
Okay.
I find it funny to give like the worst possible names, like it amuses me. So it's like, you're a Brenda or you're a Linda, or like, no offense to Brendas or Lindas out there, but I'm not going to give you like an Anastasia or an Natasha or something like bougie or whatever. It's not, you're Linda.
That's good. Now, when it comes to sissification and forced feminization, it's not like mandatory or it doesn't always happen, but it's very common to have chastity. So first question about chastity is why do you think that's so popular when in sissification and forced feminization?
Well, I mean, I think the control factor goes without saying. Having that sexual energy harnessed, like quite literally. Emasculation, which goes hand in hand with sissification and forced femme. And I feel like it's a release and an escape for a lot of men.
That's an interesting way to put it. That is a really intelligent and interesting way to put it. Okay. So do you have anybody in chastity right now?
I don't, because the motherfuckers are so flaky.
Like I said, don't waste a dom's time.
Right? I get like, oh, Mistress, I'd love for you to be my key holder, and I'll drop it off in your mailbox and blah, 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 wah, 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 I'll talk. Right? So no, I don't currently have anybody in chastity.
Okay. All right. When it comes to chastity, though, let me ask you this. What is the longest you had someone locked up for when you did have someone locked up?
Honestly, probably only like a week.
Yeah, the longest I've been was 2 weeks. That's it.
Yeah.
And I'm very fortunate that my dom loves my cock. She likes to play with it, so she likes to play with it. Yeah, the longest I've been is 2 weeks. Okay, what's that? When it comes to chastity, plastic, silicone, or metal?
Metal.
Yeah, I own a metal. Okay. Now, we're going to pick it up. We're going to make it really happy, but let's take it for a low note. We'll, just get real. This COVID-19 is really hurting, sex workers and everything like that. First of all, personally, mentally, how are you dealing with it?
I'm actually pretty okay. I think it was the last, like I said, I'm also an RMT. I'm also a massage therapist. So that's, I guess that you could say that's my mundane job, and it's, a completely separate, different world. And so not really having any around for kinky play, for doming, for massage clients, whatever. Like, I did pretty okay for like the first couple of months. The last month, like, I was getting pretty irritable, pretty stir crazy, like just not feeling like myself at all. So now being back to work, like kind of in general, like obviously with doming, it's not super consistent because people are still leery, which is fair. But that has helped. Like getting back into some semblance of a routine has been good.
We should do dominatrix masseuse show. A
Massage
dominatrix.
therapist.
What?
Massage therapists. We are not masseuses.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. I did not mean any disrespect.
2 years of education and a diploma. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, like for me, those are two separate worlds, right?
Like the thing is, yeah, I know, but like I could just imagine we do an episode where you got somebody and you're just like elbowing them.
Oh, you like tissue, do you? Yeah.
You'll be surprised that people watch that.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the people that come to see me as massage clients are like actual just masochistic little bitches in disguise. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the Marquis de Sade. On your website, you quote the Marquis de Sade. Now, I have a fascination with the Marquis de Sade. Let me ask you a question about the Marquis de Sade. What's your fashion? What do you like about the work of the Marquis?
You know, like honestly, I was a little bit conflicted because I love that quote. But I'm always kind of conflicted about the Marquis de Sade because the man was a fucking tyrant. Like,
oh God, he was an animal.
Yeah, and a psychopath and a lot of things, right? But I guess it's just a sick fascination. I don't know what else to say.
I feel the same way. I feel the same. Yeah. First of all, have you seen Quills? The movie Quills?
One of my favorite movies.
Yeah, it's really good. They cut out his tongue. Have you seen Sallow or 120 Days of Sodom?
No, and I saw that in your email, and I actually have not seen either of those, surprisingly.
It's first of all, it's based on a Marquis de Sade book, the book that he wrote right before he died.
Yeah.
And but it's changed from France to Italy, and during World War II instead, and it is done by Pier Paolo Pasolini, who was a brilliant director and brilliant poet, brilliant writer, and it's absolutely disgusting and crazy. It's just, let's just say there's like, it's based on like Dante's Inferno. Like you just go deeper and deeper. It's about these Italian Nazis who kidnap a bunch of young kids, 18-year-old kids, or no, 18 young people, men and women, and they just sexually torture them at first, and then they just torture them more with like corpophilia, which is feeding them shit, and then and they kill them. And the whole thing is the fact that it's a metaphor for fascism, and with everything that's going on these times, it's really it's mind blowing. But it's shot beautifully. Shot beautifully. I would definitely check it out. Okay, so we talked about sadism. Let's talk about impact play. Now. Riding crops, floggers, switches, whips, like they're all wonderful.
Yep.
What's your favorite?
Crops, probably.
Riding crops are sexy. I gotta give you that. Like they just look cool and they sound cool and they hurt.
And they're mean. Yeah. They're sexy and they're mean, kind of like me. Yeah.
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 And you like horses.
And I love horses, yeah. but in all honesty, I love it all. Like I love, again, horse related, but I love buggy whips, and I don't have as much experience with single tails. Like I have, like galley whips, buggy whips, quirts. Yes, again, all horse related. But like bull whips or, you know, like I don't have as much experience with that mainly because I've never had enough space to use them.
Okay.
But they're sexy.
Yeah.
I love floggers. I love switches. I love my rattan cane. It's mean as hell.
Yeah. Okay, so
I'm sorry, Lexan. I have rattan, but Lexan is what I meant. Sorry.
Okay, so you don't have to answer this, and if you know in like massive detail or anything like this, but are you in a personal relationship now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. So I'm always curious about how people meet, how kinky people meet. Obviously, you're a kinky person, you know. So how did you two meet, or how did all three of you meet?
Okay, well, I'm married and polyamorous, so I'm
Okay.
my husband's actually the one that made my website.
It's a nice website.
Sorry. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And we met back in 2008 initially because I was in their very first music video. He's a death metal musician.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah. And then we ended up single at the same time in 2013 and got together.
I was watching Metalocalypse.
Yeah.
Yeah. That show's amazing. That show's really funny. I'm not like a huge death metal fan, but I appreciate the talent that goes into the interest, you know,
yeah.
the detail to, because like you need some chops on the guitar to play that stuff.
Yeah, he's a vocalist, so yeah.
All right, that's awesome. And your other?
We met on a Facebook page called Crazy Pineapples, believe it or not.
What is Crazy Pineapple?
I didn't know about it either until more recently. It's a page for, it's like a sex positive page, so kink, swinging, poly, that sort of thing.
Okay, so let's talk about polyamory. Let's talk about polyamory a second. What's the key to making it work? I mean, a lot of times jealousy gets in the way. And also, not only the key to making it work, but what's the best way to introduce it into a relationship also?
Well, like what answers both questions is absolutely communication. Because you're not, we're not impervious, right? Where people are going to be jealous, people are going to have insecurities, there are going to be those moments. You're not going to get around that. And for me, it's kind of a red flag for people like meeting other poly people who are like, oh, I don't get jealous about anything. And I'm like, you're such a fucking liar. Of course you do. But so it's talking about it and making sure that you're communicating on a regular basis, checking in with everybody you're involved with, like, how are you feeling about this? Making sure it's consensual and ethical, right? Like how you should be going about everything in your life.
Interesting. Yeah, that's true. For me, because we play with a bunch of people. For me, the jealousy issue. It brings me back to being a teenager. I was jealous when I was very much in love with a woman when I was a teenager, and I hated how I felt. I hated that I felt jealous, and I hated how my jealousy made her feel. And so I vowed to myself that I would never act like that or be like that again, you know. So, but everyone's different. But that's a very, communication. Communication is very important. Okay, so all right, you are experienced in the kink community and fetish community, but the kink rabbit hole goes deep. It goes really, yeah. There are things I'm into now. Never thought I'd be into. Like I never thought I'd own a metal chastity cage. You know what I mean? It used to scare the hell out of me 15 years ago. What are some new things you want to try or that you're interested in or that you are trying? Yeah.
I would like to learn how to do scarification.
Ooh.
Mhm.
Huh.
Because I definitely like the sadist part of it for sure, but also the element of ownership behind it for me.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could always take a metal coat hanger, make it like hardcore, just make something. You can get artistic with it too, and just.
Oh, you are no punk rock, aren't you? Some safety pins, whatever. Just use your lighter. Yeah.
All right. We're gonna play a little game, and this is brand new. I only did this once. Um, Three things that you love. One has to be kink related,
Okay.
but they all have to start with the same letter.
Oh, okay. Three things that I love. One is kink related, same letter. Okay. Bastonado.
Okay.
Burlesque. Bunnies.
You said bunnies, not buddies.
Bunnies, like bunny rabbits.
Yeah, we're looking for a bunny. We're looking to get a bunny. Now, have you done burlesque?
So almost 17 years.
Okay, let's talk about burlesque. I have many friends who are burlesque performers, and
Yeah.
I have an absolute love for burlesque. I love the body positivity of it. I love the diversity. I love the creativity. You name it. So, what would you say? And everyone's got their style. There's the vintage, there's the vintage style, like Dita Von Teese.
Yeah.
There's Nerdlesque, who is, it's like Star Wars and stuff like that.
A lot of my friends are into Nerdlesque, yeah.
There's neo burlesque, and then there's gorelesque, and I'm sure there's other kind of styles that I can't even mention, that I can't even think of. What would you say your style is?
I definitely incorporate fetish and kink into a lot of my performances, but I actually do it all. I love gorelesque. Like I've eaten a cow heart on stage, or like shoot it. Like,
Hey, I gotta write that down.
I shouldn't say I eat it, but I definitely chewed it up and spit it out, and yeah.
Cow heart on stage.
Yeah, it was for a Little Red Riding Hood number that I modified to like a death metal version of it, where Little Red Riding Hood goes pretty psycho, kills the wolf, rips his heart out, everything's blood, yeah.
That sounds awesome. That sounds so entertaining to me.
Yeah, it was. It's pretty entertaining. And then my bloody bra and panties are out in the audience, and yeah.
So when it comes to music always plays a very big part in burlesque performances. Some people like the slow, sensual music. Some people like the hardcore, loud, industrial or metal music and stuff like that. What's your style?
Again, all of it. Like, I'm an old spooky kid, so definitely with like the goth industrial metal elements. Like Jenna Tortures, I love performing to their stuff. And slow and sensual too, or even the classics, right? Like I do vintage classic burlesque. I'm more well known for like the darker, more sensual, harder stuff, but I do it all. I've done comedy, I've done gore, I've done kitsch, ultra glamorous. Yeah, I've done it all. So
you know what is I just gotta say this. I have to say this. The background that you're, it looks like you have this beautiful crown. All hail, Mr. Shadow.
Yeah. It's a subconscious thing.
That's funny. It's good.
When really, in all honesty, is that I'm at my boyfriend's place and this wall is really ugly, so we hung this up today.
And I've said this before many times, but I mentioned "Trust in Me," the cover, by Susan, by Susan the Banshees from the album "Looking Glass." I always thought that would make an amazing song to do a burlesque thing to. So okay, so BDSM on a budget. I highly recommend anybody out there who has the money support BDSM, either performers, products, anything like that. But not everybody's got it, especially with what's going on right now. So, and support a good dominatrix. Don't waste their time. And but let's say there's a couple or a couple people out there who want to be kinky, and I'm not just talking about products. I'm talking about like mentally, whatever. What are some ways people who don't have the money can still be kinky and not spend either anything or very little?
Limited household items, dollar store. Like it's about being creative, right? Spatulas work great. Wooden spoons, metal chopsticks, because you can heat them up or you can cool them down with some rubber bands. Or
I didn't think about that.
Right? They're great for nipple torture. Predicament bondage, if you want like the mental aspect, like wrap somebody up in like $2 party streamer, and if they move, they get like a good ass kicking,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right.
All right. Rapid fire recommendations, and we always go off on a tangent on this. So, and they don't have to be kink related at all. They can be, but they don't have to be. And it's all right. Recommend a film.
Secretary.
I love that film. Oh my god, I absolutely enjoy that film. That's great. Okay, recommend a song.
Oh, recommended song. Flesh is the Law by Jenna Tortures.
Okay. Recommend a book.
Story of O.
Oh, that's a good one. I own not only the movie, but there's a miniseries that was made in Brazil, and it's pretty brutal. Yeah. Story of O is good. Story of O is a good one. You know your stuff. All right. Recommend a television show.
That's a tough one, honestly. Recommended television show.
Anything. There's no wrong answer.
It was there, and then I totally blanked. Where did it go? Queer as Folk.
Oh, I haven't seen that in years.
One of my faves, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in years. You know what? One thing that I really love, especially with the feminization aspect, is there's a new show on HBO called We're Here, and it's about drag queens that go like small time. Like I was like crying. Literally, I was like,
anything RuPaul has done or like is affiliated with, I watch it all. Like my husband loves drag more than I do and his girlfriend combined.
So. All right, finally, recommend a meal.
Indian.
What kind of Indian? Now, I'm from Jersey.
Okay.
We have some like hardcore Indian food here. There's ragda patties, palik paneer, samosa chat. There's a bit, like you got to recommend it. What?
Lamb korma.
Lamb korma. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we've before we get to the plugs, we reached the final thing, the final segment, and we're gonna have some fun. Okay. These are my notes. I'm throwing them across the room. because this is off the top of my head too. This is the word association game. So I'm gonna say a word or phrase. You say the first thing that pops in your head. So if I say chastity, you may say lock. If I say chastity and the first thing that pops in your head is lamb karma, yeah, like that's fine too. There's no wrong answer. Okay. That's rule number one. You say the first thing that pops in your head. And just so you know, this is off the top of my head too, so we're on the same plane. Okay. I want you to feel comfortable about this. Second rule is we don't kink shame. So if I say something, please don't make fun of it. Just say not my thing.
Yeah.
Okay? Then there's a jar. Oh, Tangled Blue, I love you. Tangled Blue is a submissive kitten who's essential to your kinky friends, and we have a very weird, absurd sense of humor. And she gave me this jar filled with little pieces of paper. I don't know what I'm pulling out this jar. Some of it's kink related, some of it is absolute nonsense. So prepare to get a little silly, okay?
Sweet.
All right, cool. All right, are you ready to go?
Yes.
You got your helmet on, strapped in? Okay. Pegging.
Dildo.
Straight jackets.
A good time.
Yeah, I got one for my birthday. like a hardcore real one, not just. I used to, when I was like going through puberty, I used to make straight jackets out of raincoats and belts, and I just wiggle on the floor. I was a weird kid. So,
Yeah, me too. Yeah, not at all.
So, all right. The St. Andrew's Cross.
Flogging.
Floggers.
Nasty.
Riding crops.
Sexy.
Corsets.
Powerful.
Hair pulling.
Hot.
Fisting.
Gentle.
Cunnilingus.
Know your shit.
Upper left. Yes. You need practice. You need practice. It's good. I'd love it. So, tickling.
Hate it.
Wrestling.
On top.
Sploshing.
Chocolate sauce.
Okay. Fire play.
Sagittarius.
Okay. Wax play.
Messy.
Knife play.
Sleek.
The 50s housewife dynamic.
Say that again.
The 50s housewife dynamic.
Common.
Interesting answer. All right, leather.
Dom.
Latex.
Model.
Clown play.
Unique.
My friend Amy Mercury, she does clown porn.
I have a stripper friend who her shtick is totally angry little clown. That's awesome.
She's an angry little clown. She's not. That's funny because Amy just like she goes, I just want to make people laugh and make balloon animals. And I'm like, okay.
No, she's like a sideshow stripper clown.
Okay. Garter belts.
Betty Page.
Ooh. I want to watch that movie again. There's a really good movie about Betty Page. All right, wait. Take a break. Garters. I have an absolute fetish for lingerie. It's like I cannot get enough of it. Now, 4 straps, 6 straps, or 8 straps.
I think my favorite are probably 6.
Thin or thick?
Thick.
Yeah. Oh, woman after my own heart.
Or vintage, yeah.
Cuckolding.
Owned.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go to the chart. I told you this is going to get really absurd. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that counts. Pegging.
First one again.
Yeah, we did that one, right?
Yeah, we did that one. Are we doing word association with these two?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
part of the game.
Yeah.
Glisten.
Lube.
Tits.
Set.
Fingers.
Fucking.
Snakeskin.
Boots.
Foof.
My cat.
What's your cat's name?
I have 5.
You have 5 cats.
Well, technically 7 if you include my boyfriends, yes. And a dog.
You're a crazy cat lady.
I am a crazy cat lady. Yep, professed.
That's good. Oh, good. My dom is a vet tech, and she rescues cats.
Yep.
And, yeah. So.
I'm also a trained vet assistant. I went to school to do that too.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so the last 2. Water sports, aka pistol play.
Mm-hmm. Fun.
Okay. What happens when you don't have to go?
Then they have to wait, and that makes it even better.
That's good. All right. That's good.
Anticipation,
Finally, okay, this is a dumb pun. Please forgive me for this, but I do this all the time. We have reached the end. Scat.
Nope.
Okay. Fair enough. Mistress Shadow, you've been an absolute pleasure. I loved talking with you. Seriously, in these times, conversations like this make my day, and they hopefully people will watch or listen to this and get some happiness from it. So please, first of all, stay in the line after we're done. I'm not going to waste your time. Like I said, don't waste the dom's time. But yeah, please stay in the line. But please, right now, take your time to promote everything and anything, whether it's kink related or creatively or whatever. Just your links, Twitter, Instagram, social media, TikTok, whatever. Just please promote yourself. Please use this to promote yourself. Go.
So you can find me at www.mistressshadow.com. You can Twitter me at Domina Shadow 13. Instagram at Shadowland YYC, which is Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Instagram at Shadowland YYC. FetLife is Mistress Shadow 13 as well.
All right. Wonderful. Like I said, please stay on the line real quick. And you can contact me at yourkinkyfriends.com. We have a Discord chat group. We have a Facebook chat group called YKF, which is secret because Facebook is a nightmare sometimes. I'm on Twitter at Nicholas Tanek. I'm on Instagram at Nick Tanek, but there's also a dual account called Friends Kinky on both. And there's Patreon at patreon.com at YKF. And oh my God, it's getting late, my friends. My dom is calling me.
Oh.
Remember the cardinal rule: be cool, be kind, and keep an open mind.
Word.
Take care, everybody.